It is the 20th of December. Here's your update on what's going on in the war in Ukraine. I have been voicing my concern about mobilization happening after New Year's. I was pretty sure that's going to happen. Mentioned that Zaluzhny kind of talked about it, the head of the military, and Budanov, who's the head of the military intelligence. Yesterday, Zelensky held a press briefing in front of local and foreign press, where he went over a number of things, but the main takeaway, I would think, is this quote from him. The General Staff proposed mobilizing an additional 450 to 500,000 people. Mobilization will, in this format, will cost the state 500 billion hryvnia. I don't know how much that is in dollars. Use a calculator. I would like to see calculations from the cabinet of ministers regarding such measures. A comprehensive plan will be prepared by the military and submitted to the Verkhovna Rada for consideration. That's the parliament. End quote. He talked about lowering the age from 28 and above to 25 and above. And he also specifically said that he won't sign any law that says that they should mobilize women, because that's been a rumor going on in Ukraine. So now you have it. I mean, how successful they're going to be, that's a big question. And there's a quote from Zaluzhny, I don't know from where he says that he talked about, it's going to be hard because they fired all the regional commanders in regards to mobilization. So, because of corruption, so they needed to be fired. I'm not saying that, but it's going to be hard because, he said because they're professionals. He probably meant they're career soldiers who know how to do this stuff, legal or otherwise. But I don't know. They're going to have to do something, and this 450 to 500,000. Yeah, they're going to be able to need to train them, feed them, equip them, and everything. But that's that. Let's go over a few other things. He also talked about air defense. In Kyiv, we have one Patriot system, and we have another one in Odessa. So that's two in country. Patriot is the most powerful air defense system in the world, and it has been very successful here and shooting down ballistic missiles. We also have a bunch of other ones, IRIS-T, NASAMS, and a bunch more. But the main one is the Patriot, because they're the only one that we have that can defend against ballistic missiles. He was asked how many are on the way to Ukraine, and this is his answer. Quote, several, I will not say the number, several new Patriot systems will protect our country in winter. I promise not to say the number until we are protected. End quote. What has been shown to be the most effective weapon here in this war is FPV drones, first-person view drones. Like I said yesterday, Ukraine can manufacture 50,000 of them per month, but Russia is able to manufacture 250,000, so it's 5 times more. That's a huge difference. Luckily, Ukraine has very good pilots, very good intelligence, and very good partners. So there's a lot of drones coming into country, but that presents a huge cachet of problems on its own. Different manufacturers from different parts of the world, all with different systems. So and also just getting them in country, and Zelensky knows this. He even mentioned it yesterday. Let me quote him here. I had a stack of 26,000 drones. They were lying in a warehouse and did not reach the front. I wanted to understand, really. I don't like it when logistically and bureaucratically the Soviet process still remains. We will overcome logistics. The soldiers will receive domestic drones. Very true. And it's a huge undertaking to be able to up the manufacturing and counter the Russian FPV drones. Of course, Ukraine has a bunch of other drones flying in the sky. They're making like these long-range drones where they're, attacking in the deep rear, but the front is the front. You need something for the front. And the FPV drones are very capable and very important. He also talked about artillery. artillery, the queen of the battlefield, like they call it. It's the biggest killer in Ukraine, for sure. Now I think the FPV drones might be overtaking it, but not by much. Artillery is a huge problem now. The shells are very scarce. Here in Ukraine, we've already started to see shortages. It's already starting to affect the battlefield, like I talked about yesterday in Ivanivska. So they need to do something. And it's complicated. On one hand, it's very complicated because the aid that's coming in is there's uncertainty about that. There are hundreds of thousands of shells that are on the way, but still, I mean, Ukraine is firing a few thousand shells per day. Russia is as well. Russia is also experiencing shortages, but what they did immediately is to start their own military industrial complex to manufacture more and more of these shells. The West pretty much hasn't. Zelensky also addressed the elephant in the room, which is this reported tension between him and the head of the army, General Zaluzhny. I mean, there's obviously tension, has been for a long time, before the war and everything. But, you know, both of them have done a remarkable job in the job that they're doing. But now, of course, there's tension. It's been a long time. I don't know the reasoning, but here's the quote. And it's weird and difficult, but here we go. Bear with me. Why should anyone help and develop this topic? I have a working relationship with Zaluzhny. He must be responsible for the result on the battlefield as the head of the army. That's very true. Together with the general staff, there are many issues there. There's also Tauria commander, who is in charge of the operational command. This is a complicated issue, the offensive. Something happened, something didn't, something has come, something is missing, and maybe won't come. This is a complicated story. We cannot afford to live in Ukraine with a daily result. He also said, being president is an honor, a great honor. This is not only a question of him, this is a question of words, rhetoric, and actions. You know, the word comes first, followed by the appropriate step. We need strong steps and results. That's all. I do not develop any personalities or difficulties in personalities. I'm not going to try to analyze what he just said. I think he's saying, I hate the guy. I don't know. I have no idea. I'll do a quick fire round on the developing news in Ukraine that I think is interesting. There's 5,000 trucks queuing by the border to enter from Poland. That's being blocked by Polish truckers. In Kharkiv, in the Saltivka district, in the northernmost district, it got hit by a missile strike. The S-300 hit this tram station. You can see that this giant crater that one of these missiles makes when it hits the ground. And these missiles are hitting Ukrainian cities almost every day. France will begin training Ukrainian pilots on fighter jets in 2024. It's interesting the words that they're using. They don't say F-16, they say fighter jets. I'm hoping it's the Eurofighter that they're training them on because it's a much better jet than the F-16. The F-16 is kind of old, but it's still amazing. Eurofighter is really good, but I think it's just wishful thinking. Another thing, Ukraine and the Brits sign a bilateral agreement in lieu of NATO membership for the framework of negotiating a memorandum of understanding post-war. It's about maritime capabilities. I don't know. Memorandums give me the ick after the Budapest memorandum, you know, where all nations promised to come to Ukraine's defense and then they just didn't. Anyways, it's very late. I'm very tired, and I'll see you tomorrow.